I don't usually make these types of videos, and being serious is kind of an odd thing to me, but I have a message, a story, that I'd like to get out to the world, because I think a lot of people can relate to me. Life is often compared to a river, winding, unpredictable, and full of twists and turns. Parts of it might be more clear than others. If there's anything my life has been, it's unpredictable. Sometimes I feel like the current carries me to places I don't want to be, and it's always tricky for me to pull myself out of those places. When I was a kid, I had a lot of issues with my family. I never met my dad, and I had a young mom who I think spent a lot of her time confused and left me neglected. Nothing I ever did could ever be good enough. A lot of that carried into my self-esteem, and as a result, throughout a lot of my childhood, I had trouble making friends. Because of that, I spent a lot of time alone. I developed a lot of lonely hobbies, mainly sourcing to the internet and playing various flash games, and around this time, there was something blowing up on the internet: YouTube. I remember being in school and my friend showing me a video of PewDiePie doing a presentation on how you could make money from playing video games. He was doing it in an online platform called YouTube. And of course, I wanted to try it out for myself, so in 2014, I grabbed a 7-year-old MacBook and used the webcam to create my first couple videos. Immediately, I fell in love with it.
Hello, YouTube. I am the My Amazing Comedy.
It allowed me to be a version of myself that people actually enjoyed. Seeing complete strangers comment on my videos saying that I was entertaining and that they genuinely enjoyed content was so incredibly validating. I spent the better part of the next 4 or 5 years intermittently doing YouTube. I worked all the way up to a little over 1,000 subscribers, and then I hit my first bump. I was living with my mom, and the environment was increasingly getting worse and worse. Constantly being yelled at, never being good enough, and trying to be the shield, putting myself in between my mom and my siblings. It just got to a point where I couldn't take it. It got to a point my days were going by too fast, everything was a blur. I was numbed to a point where I was just experiencing light and colors go by. I was on autopilot. I realized there was no way I could do that anymore, so I thought about running away. And I did. Albeit chaotic and overwhelmingly difficult, I did it successfully and legally. I finally got to a point afterwards where I felt happy. I was living with my grandpa, who has always made sure to watch out for me my entire life, and I started making YouTube videos again. But those traumatic memories tend to be permanent. Sometimes there are things in our past that are too difficult to let go, where you are unable to forgive yourself and forgive those around you, where you're unable to move on. And that's what happened to me. I still isolated myself from people because I was afraid to let anyone in. I was afraid to go out into the world because I wasn't good enough. I stopped trying in school. I don't think I did a single homework assignment throughout the entirety of high school, and I barely passed with straight D's, and it left me in a direction facing completely backwards. I had no idea what to do, where to go, or what on earth my life should be. I just took the next logical step. I went to college. The first time I went in for marketing because I figured if I knew how to put myself out there well enough, maybe I could be famous on YouTube. However, I couldn't keep up with it and almost immediately dropped out. My one childhood friend and we always fantasized about traveling the world. There was nothing here for us, no family, no friends, so why not just go adventure and live a nomad lifestyle forever? So we both moved in together in a small house in West Virginia. Almost immediately we got into a fight and went our separate ways. So once again, this left me alone, but this time separated from anyone I've ever known, being more than 400 miles away. So I started making videos again, this time building up an even larger following than I have ever done before. I believe it was 500,000 views in 90 days, and it was just insane. Turns out, loneliness takes a toll, and I was reaching my breaking point, and I thought, you know what? Fuck it. There's nothing left for me here anymore. I'm joining the army. So I started that process. Halfway through, right as I was done saying goodbye and I was preparing to be shipped out, and I hadn't quite yet signed my contract, but that was kind of the next stage, something dawned on me. Because I had this opportunity to think for a little bit before going in, is this something that I really want to do? This wasn't moving forward. This was giving up. And I knew I was capable of so much more. I'm smart. And my ambitions, if I just worked harder, would allow me to succeed. Who is to say I can't be one of the greats? I went back to college, this time for psychology, to become a psychiatrist. All these years, all this loneliness, and all this pain was likely a result of neglect and trauma during childhood. It left me with something that altered my ability to function with what we consider to be normal in our culture. We call this maladaptive behavior. And I wanted to learn about it and study it so that I could do everything in my power to make sure nobody else would ever feel like I did. And then finally I dropped out again. I started working on YouTube again, then I went back to college again, then I dropped out again. I've been to college 3 different times. I still feel like I'm just spinning my wheels. Peers, people that I grew up with are moving forward and I feel like I'm left behind. My friends are getting married, having kids, people my age are starting their lives, and here I am doing nothing. So to be honest, I've thought about joining the military again, just doing my own thing and learning the skills to survive on my own. Anyone else going through these same emotions, these same thoughts, I wish I had advice for you, but I'm still stuck. I'm still lost. It means the world to me to have people like you watch my videos. I'm just running out of energy to create, and my being is starting to stagnate. I'll fight through it all for all of you. I will promise myself I will not stop creating. I just ask whoever you are, a friend, a viewer, a fan, don't let me give up. Be patient with me. I may upload for 2 weeks and then have to take another 2 weeks off, but I will try my best to create amazing, valuable content for all of you. I want to be known on YouTube, but I want to improve the lives of millions of people. Let's make sure that happens. On my end and your end.